Hello and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. Today we are going to be talking about the Schumann resonances and their link to evolution adaptation. Now I don't personally believe in evolution, which is this mad theory about people turning from algae into people over billions of years. I find it insulting to my intelligence that people will try and say things evolve into other things, and I've said it's adaptation at best. Same way the human body will get hairy if you get cold, because it stimulates stem cell activation of stem cell hair production stem cells. So yeah, the cold actually makes you grow hair. So it's not evolution. To me, it's always been adaptation. But for YouTube, because people believe in evolution, so it doesn't matter which one you do believe, evolution and or adaptation. In one of my last videos, I linked it to the Schumann resonances due to Michael Clarage's fantastic video about the light of life. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're starting to get direct proof of new plants that people are saying that they have never seen before. And is it a reputable source? Hey, it's comments on YouTube, so take them with a pinch of salt. But I said, due to the teachings of God, which I have laid out in all my videos, I said that evolution and adaptation was linked to the Schumann resonances immediately after watching this video by Michael Clarage. So let's have a re-listen to what he's about to tell you about the Schumann resonances. I said they are the holding pattern for DNA. They don't create DNA. That's ridiculous. Otherwise, DNA would be popping up all the time in midair, wouldn't it? Because we live in a Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is a holding pattern for DNA. It is the energy for DNA while actually holding it within structure. Okay, so let's listen to what Michael says, and he's basically going to say that, but he doesn't. So I've explained it in that way, that the Earth Schumann field is holding you together, or at least holding your DNA together, so that you basically don't turn into something else or start having major biological problems within your body. So let's have a listen to Michael.
Experiment involving the biophotons of DNA. The lab of Luc Montagnier was studying radio frequencies emitted by DNA. In the last of a series of truly boggling experiments, they placed a string of DNA into a vial of water and stimulated the vial with various radio frequencies. Then filter out the DNA. This leaves just water, but the water is now emitting radio frequencies, which it somehow got from the DNA. Place an antenna around the vial of water and send that signal to a second lab several miles away. In this other lab, you have a second test tube that contains water and all the individual building blocks of DNA.
Now, notice there is no creation of DNA here. The individual building blocks of DNA are contained in the water. What's about to happen does not create DNA. It's going to do something else.
Broadcast our signal into the second vial. In a few hours, the original DNA strand will be constructed in the second vial. Sounds like magic, and I guess it is, but it is also experimental data. Water can hold the radio frequency signal, which can be used to rebuild the DNA sequence from raw materials.
So there we go. The frequency that they took from it and then recreated using the same frequency stacked the DNA back together. Now, I do say on this video, is it in the right order? That would be interesting, because then you could check whether or not the Schumann frequency was actually doing its job by consistently doing this, say, let's say once a month, to see if the DNA shifted positions. Do you understand what I mean? To see if different things are activated, to see if you could actually grow something from something different. So anyway, what it's saying is the Schumann frequencies are the holding pattern for all DNA and is energizing it. And then if you copy that energization that was given it, it will recreate DNA. So not only is it energizing it, it's holding it where it's supposed to be. Like if you had a glass of water with mud in it and you shook it up and then you let it settle, it would settle into levels, because that's the gravitational or electromagnetic attraction to the planet based on energy content or matter content or matter energy content. So the levels would change depending on what frequencies are used. So now, why am I bringing this up? I am bringing this up because I've said it's linked to, we've had 5 major extinctions. And in each one, in each pile of dirt, there's a different set of animals, there's a different set of plants. Now, every 12,000 years, this has happened and we've had a major extinction. We are now at the 12,000 year mark. So if it's going to follow everything else, new things are going to appear after the mass extinction. But obviously, there's going to be a run-up to the main event. So the run-up to the main event is going to start showing up in plants and animals. And there's been many studies saying that beaks are getting longer and tail feathers are changing and wing colours are changing. And now we have examples of plants popping up that shouldn't be there. Now, I went to Suspicious Observers. He's got a video on. I haven't actually watched it yet because I just noticed a comment, something to do with a Heinrich event on deck, cold catastrophe, and this is where people start screaming about how we're all going to die in flames, and then suddenly we're in an ice age because the polar caps melt, they flood into the oceans, and then the oceans go really cold, and so the planet goes cold. But if the sun keeps its output up anyway, the polar caps will melt and the seas will boil, as it says in the Bible. Anyway, back to what I found in here. So on here are several people talking about growing seasons. So we'll go with Mr. James Hurley here. Weird growing season here in GA. We lost all our tomato plants to what was determined as UV burning because our EM field is going down. On the flip side, our pepper plants accelerated production, producing fruit at bountiful levels 8 to 10 weeks early this year. Our yard has an uncontrollable new variety of weeds never seen before in our 35 years here. Yep, something is going on way out of the norm. Yeah, the Schumann resonances, people are talking about how they're spiking. Yep. But the reason that evolution and adaptation are linked to these is because it's what holds DNA together. So, new variety of weeds not seen in 35 years, or not seen before in the 35 years they've been there, I say is now a direct correlation to the Schumann resonance, changing frequencies and giving energy to different parts of the DNA. I've said this about viruses, that we have levels of energy within the atmosphere. I said, and if this changes, some things are going to die and some things are going to massively reproduce. Unfortunately for us, disease is going to come back in a scary way. But yeah, so they've got new variety weeds there. Everybody's losing their food in the sun. Tomato plants, some are saying they're in full sun and absolutely love it. These here say they're in 8 foot tall in the shade but die in the full sun. These are in the full sun doing great, but some can't hold the fruit long enough. This is all due to just the heat and radiation we're getting. Here in North Florida, we had a lot of new things never seen. In the 8 years we've gardened, new mushrooms, new weeds. Disaster for most plants, even though we had a mild spring. We have heat waves that swing in for early summer. Temps usually seen in August, not June. So basically, everything's hot. And there's a lot more here. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 more in that. Oh, I don't know. Somebody in England here, and it looks like fluoride poisoning to their broccoli and cauliflower, which, of course, all the water in England is full of fluoride. All of it, every hose pipe, you name it. So unfortunately, that would be the water that they're putting in as much fluoride as they can to poison you, because fluoride comes from some horrible process, and it's illegal to flush it into the ground. You see, fluoride, it's illegal to do that. But if they give it to you inside toothpaste and put it in the water and say it's good for your teeth, they can legally flush it into the ground. Unfortunately, it's now killing plants. So back to the Schumann resonances. People are seeing new plants that they've not seen before. So I say it's all due to what I say in this video evolution, adaptation, linked to the Schumann resonances. I will link the video to this video so you can understand that God is with me, and everything he's taught me means I can understand what's happening. There's only one sun in the sky. Its power output is increasing, which is why it's turned white. The Earth is a magnet and generates a EM field due to the power of the sun entering our poles, and if that heats up, it will lose its magnetic field, and we are heating up, so it's losing its magnetic field. The levels of the shield are getting thinner, which is why satellites are being damaged by giant solar storms if they happen. And that's why everything's getting UV damage, because our EM field is retracting. It's coming down. And as I said, probably got about another 15 to 16 years. 15 to 7, I'd say at least 16 to 17 years. And then we're going to see a main event. And then we will see a confounded moon, and a bashed moon, and a shamed moon, and a blood red moon. We're going to see that, but that's not for a while yet. We will see sights and wonders in the sky. I haven't seen any yet, but I'm expecting to over the next 15 years. All right, thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ, and I tell you the things that he taught me in visions. And it means, with information, I can put anything together. And now we have actual people saying we're seeing varieties of plant life we haven't seen. And there's already been plenty of things about animals changing and new species being discovered, of course, all the time. And then, of course, you've got the birds and the seafaring animals that find their way via electromagnetic sensors in their brains, and they're all getting lost and things like that. There's been a lot of stories. English racing pigeons disappearing and flocks of birds showing up in places they shouldn't. Pods of whales don't beach themselves because they're on a suicide run. They don't know where they are. The animals will be affected first, and the plant life, and then us, the most advanced, relatively speaking, biological unit on the planet. Pray to God to lead you, the true creator, the father of all, and follow his son, the creator of this universe and everything else, into life. Thanks a lot.